turning to other news here at 5 o'clock. The man charged with killing his fiancée in Warrensville Heights last month is pleading not guilty.
Prosecutors say Terrell Edwards is responsible for the death of Amanda Williams. News 5's Remy Murray shows us what happened in court today.
Standing outside Warrensville Heights Police Department, there are family, friends, and even sorority sisters who all want one thing.
Justice for Amanda! Hello everybody, it's me, Amanda the stylist.
In a quiet neighborhood of Warrensville Heights, just outside Cleveland, Ohio, the leaves were already turning brilliant shades of red and gold. It was early October, a season of change. For many people in this close-knit community, autumn brought a fresh start, new school terms, crisp air, and an anticipation of the holidays. For Amanda Williams, it seemed like life couldn't get any better. A local success story, Amanda had built her dream from the ground up. She was the proud owner of A La Mode Stylies in nearby University Heights, a stylish salon she'd opened against all odds. She was also a doting mother, a grandmother, and someone her neighbors looked to for warmth and inspiration. If you had only seen her smiling in the salon mirror, expertly guiding scissors through a client's hair, you'd never suspect the storm that was brewing behind closed doors. On October 9th, 2023, the promise of a peaceful autumn was shattered when Amanda's life came to a violent end in her own bedroom. The man she was engaged to, the man who claimed to love her, fired 6 bullets that silenced her forever. In a single moment, Warrensville Heights lost one of its brightest lights, and a family lost a guiding star. But this tragedy isn't just about the final act of violence. To truly understand who Amanda was, and how a relationship that seemed so loving on the surface could end in such heartbreak, we have to journey back to her beginnings. Amanda Williams was born on April 18, 1977, in Cleveland, Ohio. Raised in a devoted family that prized faith, education, and entrepreneurship, she learned early on how to balance ambition with compassion. By the time she was a young woman, she joined the prestigious Delta Sigma Theta sorority, an organization built on the pillars of public service and leadership development, an ethos that suited Amanda perfectly. But her real passion took shape in the world of hair care and beauty. For over 25 years, she poured her heart into her craft, meticulously perfecting each technique until she became one of the most sought-after hairstylists in the Cleveland area. Clients often stepped into her salon for more than a haircut. They sought comfort, friendship, and the gentle, reassuring presence Amanda provided. Through determination and countless late nights, Amanda achieved a dream many considered nearly impossible. She opened her own salon. In an industry where countless businesses shutter before they reach the 1-year mark, Amanda thrived. She grew her client base, launched her own line of hair care products, and celebrated milestones that spoke to her unrelenting drive. As impressive as her professional success was, Amanda's true pride and joy lay in her family. She was a mother of 2 and a grandmother, dedicating time not just to her loved ones, but also to uplifting her community, often sharing messages of self-improvement and encouragement on social media. It was these very qualities, her nurturing spirit and unwavering optimism, that made Amanda Williams so beloved. Yet hidden behind the shining facade of her accomplishments was a dark reality that ultimately took her life. The story of Amanda Williams isn't just about one woman's success or one tragic incident. It's about the hidden face of domestic violence in America. It's a reminder that the most dangerous moment for a victim often comes when they decide it's time to leave. In this series, we'll honor Amanda's legacy by delving deeper into her life and unraveling the complexities of the relationship that led to her death. We'll also shine a light on the red flags that so often go unnoticed and the urgent need to better protect those who find themselves in the midst of a silent storm. Autumn mornings in Ohio can be unforgiving, and October 10th, 2023 was no exception. The thermometer read 43 degrees, and a cold drizzle seemed to set the tone for what would become a day of escalating tensions in Amanda Williams' otherwise warm and inviting home. She had just returned from a cosmetology convention in Columbus, an event that should have been invigorating, a chance to network, learn, and deepen the passion for her craft. But the real test of her strength awaited her at home. A single, unanswered text message from her fiancé, Terrell Edwards, sparked the first sparks of conflict that morning. At first glance, it seemed like a minor misunderstanding. Yet as the hours passed, that small spark fanned into a wildfire of anger and resentment. Arguments flared up, casting a gloom over the once cozy living spaces of the house on Sunset Drive. Amanda's daughter and granddaughter remained upstairs, unwitting witnesses to the mounting storm beneath their feet. Amanda, resolute in her decision, demanded that Edwards leave. In her mind, it was time to break the toxic cycle that had been building for far too long. She went so far as to disconnect his phone service, a clear sign that she wanted him out of her life. Edwards retaliated by getting a new number, refusing to walk away quietly. Their heated exchange migrated to the basement, an effort, perhaps, to shield Amanda's loved ones from the intensity of the argument. Behind the scenes, ominous details of Edwards' past were beginning to surface. Though he technically had no prior felony record, a 2019 arrest for assaulting Amanda and a 2020 restraining order filed by another woman hinted at a troubling pattern. Close friends and family would later reflect on these red flags, painfully aware that domestic violence often hides beneath seemingly calm waters until it's too late. As dusk settled over Warrensville Heights, the dispute that had simmered all day reached its breaking point. Amanda and Terrell retreated to the bedroom, the very place that should have been Amanda's sanctuary. The final moments remained shrouded in a blend of fear, anger, and desperation. But there is one devastating certainty. Edwards grabbed Amanda's own revolver and fired 6 fatal shots. In that instant, Amanda Williams, entrepreneur, mother, grandmother, and guiding light to her community, was gone. The cruelty of the act was underscored by its location. The bedroom, a space meant for rest and safety, became the stage for an unthinkable crime. As law enforcement arrived and neighbors lit up their porches in shock, it was clear that Amanda's home, once a place of warmth and ambition, would now be forever marked by tragedy. By the time officers from the Warrensville Heights Police Department arrived at the Sunset Drive residence on the evening of October 10th, the damage was done. The home that had once echoed with laughter and everyday chatter now stood silent, bearing witness to an unspeakable act of violence. In the bedroom, they found Amanda Williams, her body riddled with gunshot wounds. Paramedics rushed her to South Point Hospital, but the severity of her injuries left doctors with little hope. Despite their best efforts, Amanda was pronounced dead, her dreams and ambitions extinguished in a single, brutal moment. In the immediate aftermath, Amanda's fiancé, Terrell Edwards, offered what sounded like a straightforward narrative of self-defense. He painted a picture of a life-or-death struggle, claiming that Amanda had threatened him with a knife and held him hostage in their bedroom. His story centered on the assertion that she lunged at him and left him with no choice but to fire 6 shots from her own revolver. But the investigation would soon reveal cracks in that account. Detectives discovered that Edwards had recorded parts of the confrontation on his cell phone. In the grainy footage, Amanda can be seen holding a knife and demanding that Edwards leave her house. Crucially, however, the camera also catches the moment she sets the knife down before stepping toward him, directly contradicting Edwards' claim that she was charging him with a weapon. Additional evidence emerged in the coroner's report. Dr. Elizabeth Mooney, the county deputy medical examiner, testified that one of the 6 bullet wounds would have caused immediate and complete paralysis from the neck down, making it impossible for Amanda to have posed any threat after being shot. Despite these glaring inconsistencies, authorities initially released Edwards, citing insufficient evidence to file charges. Outrage rippled through the community, especially among Amanda's family and friends, who were all too familiar with the troubled history of the couple's relationship. In response, Amanda's loved ones took to social media, launching a determined campaign to demand accountability. Posts and messages went viral, shedding light on a disturbing text Amanda had sent Edwards in November 2020. She had spoken about looking like a battered woman and feeling humiliated, pointing to a pattern of abuse that reached far beyond a single argument. As pressure mounted, investigators revisited Edwards' record and found a 2019 arrest for assaulting Amanda. alongside a 2020 restraining order from another woman who accused him of stalking and making threats. Taken together, these facts formed a mosaic of escalating domestic violence, one that had culminated in the tragic murder of a woman whose dreams, devotion, and zest for life were known to everyone around her. 23 days after Amanda Williams' death, a glimmer of hope emerged from the collective grief settling over Warrensville Heights. The police announced that a grand jury had voted to indict Amanda's fiancé, Terrell Edwards, on serious charges. 1 count of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of domestic violence. After his repeated evasions, Edwards finally turned himself in on November 3, 2023, and was placed in custody on a $1 million bond. The air in the packed courtroom on February 27, 2024, felt thick with tension and sorrow. Amanda's family, friends, and neighbors filled the seats, each person there to bear witness to the legal reckoning of a crime that had shaken their community. Prosecutors laid out a methodical case that challenged Edwards' claim of self-defense. They highlighted the cell phone recordings in which Amanda, though initially holding a knife, had already set it down before Edwards fired his gun. Elizabeth Mooney, the deputy medical examiner, delivered the most damning blow. Her testimony revealed that one of Amanda's wounds would have instantly paralyzed her, making it impossible for her to lunge with a knife. Adding to the prosecution's strength was evidence of a disturbing history of abuse. In particular, text messages from 2020 showed that Edwards had previously injured Amanda's face and manipulated her emotionally, information that stood in stark contrast to any narrative suggesting this final act of violence was an isolated event. Those texts cast light on a pattern of coercion and physical harm that spanned years. After days of testimony and deliberation, the jury returned a verdict that was bittersweet for Amanda's family. While Edwards was acquitted of aggravated murder, he was found guilty of 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of domestic violence. His sentence, life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years, plus an additional 9 years for the use of a firearm, totaling at least 24 years before any chance of release. During the emotional sentencing, Amanda's brother spoke through tears, capturing the heartbreak felt by everyone who loved her. She did everything right in life, but running across Terrell, he said, voice trembling with grief. I can't even look at my niece and nephew too long. I can't imagine what they're going through. The weight of the tragedy fell especially hard on Amanda's 4-year-old granddaughter, who had been in the house on that fateful night and was now left to navigate life without her doting grandmother. The shadow of this crime continues to loom over Warrensville Heights. Amanda's beloved salon, a la mode stylies, stands as a reminder of her entrepreneurial spirit, though its doors now open without her warm presence. Clients, neighbors, and friends feel the absence of her kindness and ambition every day. In the wake of her death, local advocacy groups have rallied around Amanda's story, using it to bring urgency to the conversation about domestic violence. They stress the importance of recognizing red flags in relationships and providing immediate support for victims, especially at the critical moment when they decide to leave. Her life, once defined by success and a generous spirit, has become a catalyst for change in a community still grappling with the stark reality that domestic violence can hide in even the brightest corners. Amanda Williams' murder stands as a stark reminder that domestic violence can overshadow even the brightest life. Her success and warm presence in Warrensville Heights offered no immunity from the lurking danger behind closed doors. Danger that, all too often, crescendos when a victim finally decides to break free. In the months following her death, the community continues to grapple with the gravity of its loss. Vigils and fundraisers in her honor, organized by local advocacy groups, testify to Amanda's lasting impact. Friends, family, and clients still speak of her generosity, her unstoppable drive, and that trademark, infectious smile. Despite the tragic nature of her end, Amanda's story has lit a path for others. In seeking justice, her family's persistence shone a spotlight on the complexities of domestic violence cases, a clarion call for more robust investigations, better protections, and stronger support networks for victims. In Warrensville Heights, Amanda's name has become synonymous with awareness and the rallying cry, "Never again." For those who had the privilege of knowing her, Amanda Williams is remembered not by the violence that took her life, but by the love and ambition she embodied every day. She was a devoted mother, a proud grandmother, a savvy entrepreneur, and a beacon of compassion in her community. Though she's gone, her story endures, reminding us of both the fragility of life and the enduring power of a spirit determined to lift others up, even when darkness encroaches. And that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing your time with us. If you found this story meaningful, we'd love for you to join us again next time. Until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.